Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about a new and exciting financial tool for Canadians, especially for those looking to buy their first home, the First Home Savings Account, or FHSA. If you're a first-time home buyer, this account could be your key to saving for that dream home tax-free. Let's get into it. All right, so what exactly is an FHSA? The First Home Savings Account is a registered plan with Canada Revenue Agency (CRA), introduced by the Canadian government in 2023. It's designed to help Canadians save money to purchase their first home. What makes this account special? Well, it combines the best features of both the TFSA and RRSP. Your contributions are tax-deductible like an RRSP, and any growth or withdrawals used for a qualifying home purchase are tax-free, just like a TFSA. This is huge for anyone trying to get into the housing market. To really understand the tax advantage of an FHSA, let's break it down with a simple example. Imagine you earn $80,000 a year and live in Ontario. Without contributing to an FHSA, you'd be taxed based on that full $80,000 income. But let's say you decide to contribute $8,000 to your FHSA this year. This $8,000 is deducted from your taxable income. So instead of being taxed on $80,000, you're now only taxed on $72,000. In Ontario, that could save you about $2,500 in taxes depending on your tax bracket. In short, contributing to your FHSA not only helps you save for buying your first home, but also lowers the amount of income tax you pay right now. Let's break down how the FHSA contribution room works so you can maximize your savings while staying within the rules. You can contribute up to $8,000 per year to your FHSA with a lifetime contribution limit of $40,000. Now, if you don't use the full $8,000 annual limit in a given year, don't worry, you can carry forward the unused portion to future years. This means you could contribute more than $8,000 in a later year to catch up. For example, if you contribute $5,000 in your first year, you can carry forward the remaining $3,000 to the next year, giving you a total of $11,000 in contribution room for that year. However, it's important to note that the carry forward room only starts building up after you open your FHSA, so the earlier you start, the more flexibility you'll have to maximize your savings for that first home. One of the great things about a FHSA is its flexibility. You're not limited to just keeping cash in the account. You can invest in stocks, bonds, ETFs, mutual funds, GICs, and more. This makes it a versatile tool to not only save money to buy your first home, but also grow it over time. Now let's talk eligibility. To open an FHSA, you need to be a Canadian resident, 18 years or older, or 19 in some provinces, a first-time homebuyer, meaning you haven't lived in a home that you or your spouse common-law partner owned in the current year or any of the previous 4 calendar years. If you meet those criteria, you're good to go. One of the most important things to understand about the FHSA is how withdrawals work. If you're using the funds to buy your first home, any withdrawals are completely tax-free as long as they meet the qualifying criteria. But keep in mind that if you withdraw the money for any other purpose, it will be subject to regular income tax, similar to an RRSP withdrawal. Now let's talk about how to make a qualified withdrawal from your First Home Savings Account. To access your funds tax-free, you need to meet a few important conditions. Let's break it down. First, you must be a first-time homebuyer at the time of withdrawal. This means you haven't owned or lived in a home that you or your partner owned as your principal residence in the current year or the last 4 calendar years. But here's an exception. If you bought the home within the 30 days before the withdrawal, it still counts as a qualifying withdrawal. Next, you need to have a written agreement to buy or build a qualifying home in Canada. This contract should specify that you're going to acquire or complete construction of the home by October 1st of the year following your withdrawal. So, if you're planning to build or buy a home, make sure your dates align with this rule. The home you're buying or building must be in Canada and considered a qualifying home. Whether it's a house, condo, or other property, it needs to meet the criteria of a principal residence. At the time you make the withdrawal, you must be a resident of Canada, and you'll need to remain a resident until the earlier of 2 events. Either you acquire the home or, well, let's hope it doesn't happen, the date of your passing. Finally, the home must be your principal place of residence. You must intend to live in the home within 1 year of buying or building it. This is key to making sure your withdrawal remains tax-free and eligible under the FHSA rules. That's how you can make a qualified withdrawal from your FHSA. By meeting these conditions, you'll be able to tap into your savings tax-free to buy your first home in Canada. So keep these guidelines in mind as you plan your future home purchase. However, if you decide not to use the funds for a home purchase, you can transfer the money to your RRSP or RIF without any tax implications, and this doesn't affect your RRSP contribution room. But keep in mind that if you withdraw the money for any other purpose, i.e. not related to buying a home or transferring to your RRSP, it will be subject to regular income tax, similar to an RRSP withdrawal. Here's another key point. You can hold an FHSA for up to 15 years, or until the end of the year you turn 71, or when you purchase your first home, whichever comes first. If you don't end up buying a home, you can transfer the funds to your RRSP or RIF, Registered Retirement Income Fund, without any tax penalties, and there's no impact on your RRSP contribution room. So, it's a win-win whether you buy a home or not. If you accidentally over-contribute to your FHSA, you will face penalties from the Canada Revenue Agency, CRA. The CRA imposes a penalty tax of 1% per month on the excess amount that exceeds your contribution room. This penalty continues to apply for every month the excess contribution remains in your FHSA. So be careful. Opening an FHSA is straightforward. You can do it through most financial institutions, just like with a TFSA or RSP. You'll need to show proof of Canadian residency, be 18 years or older, and meet the first-time homebuyer criteria. Once the account is open, you can start making contributions and investing toward your goal of buying a home. And that's a wrap on the First Home Savings Account. It's an incredible opportunity for Canadians looking to save for their first home with some great tax advantages. Whether you're just starting to save or you're ready to buy, the FHSA is definitely worth considering. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more content on personal finance and making the most of your money. See you soon.